Hello and welcome to FFE Draft Basics. My name is Ryan and I'm going to walk you through the basic idea of how to do your FFE draft. Now, there's two types of draft you're looking at. One is the mock draft, which will be a practice draft for your actual league draft. And then, of course, there's your league draft. And when you get into your league draft, you'll go through your actual league, click on draft team, and do it that way. But today we're going to walk through it from the mock draft page and still show you how to do an FFE draft. So let me share that screen with you and we'll go through the basic ideas. So this is your FFE page for mock drafts. What you're going to go down here and do is click on Create Team. When you create team, it's going to ask you to name your team. For the mock draft, it doesn't matter. For the team in your real league, it does matter, as you have to choose a name, and that'll be your name for the whole season. So you can look at some of these ones that have been done before. I'm going to go ahead and just call this FFE Draft Basics, so we can stay uniform with what we're doing here. And then create mock draft team. Once my team is created, it's going to show it here. And now I'm going to go ahead and start my mock draft. As soon as I click on Start Mock Draft, it's going to tell me to choose a draft position. As you know, in FFE, you get to choose where you pick in the first round. You can pick from 1 through 12, and you'll get the corresponding spot in a snake draft. For instance, if you pick 1, your next pick is 24. If you pick 12, your next pick will be 13, and so on and so forth. So let's just go ahead and throw something in. Let's go ahead and draft at 5. And click on Start Mock Draft. And as soon as I click that, it'll be setting up my draft room and having everything available that I'm going to need to draft my team. So as you look at this basic draft board here, on the left, it's showing my team. It's showing you, first of all, importantly, what you have to draft. You have to draft 3 quarterbacks. You have to draft 4 receivers. You have to draft 4 running backs, 2 kickers, 2 tight end, 2 defense, and then 3 reserve players. When you start your team, you're going to have 1 quarterback, 2 receivers, 2 running backs, 1 kicker, 1 tight end, 1 defense, and 2 super flex positions. Those can be anybody on your team. So yes, you can play 3 quarterbacks. So as you see that idea that you can play 3 quarterbacks, you're going to go to our draft board and rankings, and you're going to see that among the top, first page of players, it's all quarterbacks, because quarterbacks in general score more points than position players. And because you can play 3, they're very important to have on your team. So that's what it's showing you here on the screen. And it's showing you here. Now we've chosen draft pick 5. If you look here to the right, it's showing you the draft results. So it's got pick 5 is here. If you go to results down here, it's going to show you Barkley went first, Mahomes, McCaffrey, and Chubb. And now we're up at pick 5. When we go to draft, we go ahead and go to players, and now we can choose. We can look right here at all. So this is all the players list. We can go by position. There's quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, kicker, and then defense. And what it shows you is the rank of the player, the team. So let's go back to wide receiver and take a look at that, or tight end, excuse me. The rank is 51. The player is George Kittle, plays for San Francisco. He's a tight end. His bye week is week 11. Now, very importantly, when you're drafting your team, if you have, let's say you're drafting tight end, you only have 2 positions, they have to be different bye weeks. They cannot be the same bye week. The system will not let you draft 2 players for the same bye week if you only have 2 positions. And in the other position, you can't have 3 in a different position. You have to be able to play a full team every week. For your 4 wide receivers, you have to have 2 that are on different bye weeks. So just letting you know, as you're thinking about your players, the bye weeks do have some meaning, and the computer will not let you do certain things. Also remember, we are talking about an artificial intelligence draft. So the people that are drafting with you are not other humans. They are artificial intelligence, cutting edge, that have been developed by FFE to draft in a very different format for every draft. So every time you draft, it's different. The way the players are going to go. You can't use these mock drafts to figure out exactly where people are going to go, because it's not going to be the same. It'll be very different every draft. One draft, you can have 8 quarterbacks in the first round. Another draft, you can have 8 running backs. It's all different. It all just depends on how the AI are working. So this is just to show you how to do the draft, not necessarily to give you all the answers as to figure out who's going to be available when. So let's go ahead and talk about our first selection. Because we talked about quarterbacks before, let's just start out with the best quarterback on the board, which is Lamar Jackson at number 2. If you want to draft the player, you click on him. It'll show up right here. Then up in this orange box, draft player, you click on it. Actually, let's move my box over a little bit. You click on him, and right over here, it's now showing the rest of the draft is happening. So if you see, as soon as you draft, every AI starts their draft all the way down to where we are again. And as they're coming through, you click on results, and they're showing exactly where people are being drafted and coming through. All right, so that's kind of how it's going to work. You want to pay attention to what players have gone, and then obviously figuring out how you're going to draft your team. So let's go ahead, and we're up at number 20 pick overall, round 2. Let's go ahead and take a look at who's available at each position. We go to players. We go to quarterback. So Daniel Jones, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Cam Newton are the top guys at quarterback, meaning all of the elite guys are gone. At running back, we've got Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake as my top 4. At wide receiver, we've got DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Kenny Galladay. And tight end, we've got George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, etc., etc. Now, you'll notice in a regular fantasy draft, it's not FFE, where quarterbacks aren't as important. All of these top running backs and receivers will probably be gone at this point. Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, especially over on the wide receiver form, Hopkins, Adams, Godwin, probably all gone at this point. You're not going to have them to draft. So what you want to do is take a second pick. Let's go ahead and take the top running back available, which is Dalvin Cook. We'll draft Dalvin Cook. And again, as you watch, the computer is instantly drafting the rest of their team. So everyone you're drafting against is built on a specific algorithm to draft the team to compete with you for the first 7 weeks that you play. So now we have 2 players. We're getting ready to draft the 3rd round, but the phone rings. You got an appointment coming up. No problem. If you just go ahead and leave the draft, it's automatically saved for you, and you can come back and draft later today, tomorrow, in a week, anytime before the season starts. Actually, anytime before week 4 of the season, you can finish your draft. So if I were to say I'm going to quit for a while, I click back, I go to the other page, I wait, and you can see right there, my FFE Draft Basics team is saved, and I can go to continue mock draft. It'll be very much the same in your regular league. If you go and stop your draft, when you come back to your home page, it will say continue mock draft. So we want to go back to that. We want to continue drafting, and we're going to be set to go. So there's the players that are available right through here. You have our team. You can go to results, show how everyone's been drafted all the way up to this point, and it just gives you an idea of where you are. Now, we're going to do this all the way through 20 rounds, but remember, you have to fill in all these positions before you can be done. You can't draft 5 reserves and no extra tight end. You have to draft 2 tight ends, 2 kickers, 4, 4, and 3. You have to do that, or else the computer will not allow you to finish your draft. So that's part of the rules you want to be understanding. These players could be 1 or 2 round variants when you draft. So Nick Chubb could go in the 3rd round when you're drafting in your draft. It's all different. It's all based on these algorithms working together between the AIs. So that's what you're looking at for your draft. So you finish your draft, you go 20 rounds, and your team is ready to play. Again, you're not going to be trading. You're not going to be making any waiver wire ads. So draft the team that's going to be your team all year, because there's no substitutions you're going to be making. So the team you draft is a team you keep, and that's a team you're going to try to win the championship with. So when you're done with that, you're locked in and ready to go. You're ready to play your league. I hope this tutorial has helped you a little bit to pick up some of the FFE Draft Basics. Please draft a bunch of times in the mock draft, get your bearings going, and learn how to do it, and then go in, draft your team, draft well, and win your league, and become an FFE champion. All right? Thanks, guys. Good luck. Have a great season with FFE.